On this week's show, Jeremy drives a new Mercedes 4x4 that doesn't look like a Tonka toy. Tiff trips the Light Fantastic with Lotus as they celebrate 50 years of doing things their way. And I get to drive the cheapest car on sale in Britain.
Chap wrote to me the other day and he said, if Kent is the Garden of England, then Surrey is its patio. And he's absolutely right. I've been to Surrey many times and I've never seen any countryside at all. And yet 80% of the population there seem to drive off-road cars. The other 20% have Merc estates.
This then is the perfect combination, an off-road Mercedes estate car. It's the brand new M-Class and it's as Surrey as a sun lounger. Still, I guess the rest of the country might want to know what it's like. So let's start by putting this Benz in perspective. It looks small and compact, like a Land Rover Freelander. So you might reckon it costs, what, £20,000?
Then you come inside and it's like stepping into a hi-fi shop. I'm half expecting a man in a big suit to leap out of the glove box and start talking to me about ohms. I've got wood look wood, leather look leather, hundreds of buttons, there's even a hi-fi. So sure, it's a bit more than a Freelander. It's up against the Discovery, it's £25,000, 28 tops.
But in fact, when the M-Class arrives in Britain in September, the range will start at £32,000 and gust to over £40,000. This car needs to be very, very good. Mercedes is not new to the world of off-road cars. For years, the German army has been using the G-Wagon, seeing action in, well, nowhere really, thank God. But this wasn't designed for the army. It was designed to look good in Guildford, and it will. There's none of the glitz you get with a Japanese off-roader, and though it has the Tonka toy appeal of a Range Rover, it doesn't have the bulk. But then, things start to go wrong.
I don't like the steering, which is too light and even by off-road standards offers very little feel. And I like the brakes, which are too spongy to start with and then really rather sudden as a finale. And I'm not completely convinced by the engine.
It's the new 3.2-litre V6 and on paper it looks good. 218 brake horsepower, 0 to 60 in less than 10 seconds, 112 miles an hour flat out. Trouble is though, it's a bit rough and a bit noisy.
Think of it as a smooth, suave, sophisticated chap who hasn't shaved for a couple of days.
Maybe the diesel version will be better, but I doubt it. Maybe the 4.3-litre V8 will put a smile on my face. Or maybe I'm just nitpicking because I've got horrible jet lag.
I've got jet lag because I'm in America. And I'm in America because that's where Mercedes has chosen to build the M-Class. It's a good idea because this is by far the biggest market in the world for so-called sport utility vehicles. And because American labour is cheap. But are American car workers as competent as their German counterparts? Well, I've got my fine-tooth comb and I'm going to find out. Now, exposed screw heads, rough edges and poor panel fit is one thing, but a lack of space is quite another. The boot's fine, the back's fine, but the front here is unbelievable. I've got this seat fully back and my knees are right on the dash. My soundman tells me there's even less space in the front of this than there is in the economy section of a long-haul British Airways jet.
So far then, on the upside, we've established that I got an upgrade on the way over here and that the M-Class is good looking. I should also add that it rides well and that if you give it some stick through the corners, it behaves like any other off-roader and wallows. On the downside, it doesn't appear to be as well made as a normal Mercedes. It's cramped, noisy and expensive. As I see it then, the Mercedes has just one chance left to redeem itself.
I've wanted to say this for ages. Let's off-road. Now, it's using electricity to keep going off-road. There's no lever, for instance, to engage the low range. You just simply push this button on the dashboard. There's no levers for locking differentials either, because it doesn't have any. Electricity is monitoring which wheel has the most grip, and the power from the engine is being sent to that wheel. Then I've got traction control and anti-lock brakes. This car really is a Prussian technocrat.
There's no doubt about it. It is good off-road. Not that this is of the slightest importance to the good people of Patio Land.
Help! I'm being attacked by a snake. This has just fallen off the sunroof assembly, giving me even more cause for concern about this car. But then, what are my niggles compared to the simple facts? You see, this is an off-road Mercedes estate car, and you just can't get a more powerful image than that. I have no idea who the Mercedes dealer is in Guildford, but this Christmas he's going to be able to take 400 of his closest friends to Barbados. He's going to be able to buy Barbados.